Let's start the session now. Just let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Team, is it visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So today we are going to jump into understanding a little bit more about classroom management. And most of you who have attended my session, you all know that I am very fond of Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. To start with this particular workshop also, I would like to start with Simon Sinek's Golden Circle. Now, why classroom management is important? Teachers, you can definitely unmute and speak. Why do you think classroom management is important in this context? More and more, we are getting complaints from parents, and we ourselves are experiencing, uh, the distractions from the students due to various causes, not just technology, but there are various other causes also. So, does it reflect in your classrooms? And do you think it is important to understand more about classroom management now? Yes.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Classroom management is essential to create like conducive and learning environment for both students and the teachers.
Exactly, ma'am. You're right. Because we want to build that relationship, and if the learning has to be smoother, if the learning has to be, engaging, if we want them to participate fully, if they want, if the teachers wanted a full satisfaction of what they are teaching to the students, definitely classroom management is highly essential to have a smoother flow and to have a better clarity. So let's understand the process of why and how of classroom management. So it's very, very important to create a positive classroom climate. And in order to have this positive classroom climate, we need to set and establish rules, routines, and procedures. We need to have strategies for proper student engagement. And when I say strategies for student engagement, the word engagement itself encompasses broader aspects of having hands-on, minds-on, and reflective learning practices. To bring in that, definitely it is essential to have classroom management. And we should understand how to handle disruptions and conflicts in the classroom, and how to positively reinforce our philosophies, our agreements, our rules, and give feedbacks that is more relevant and useful for the child to better understand and bring in a change for himself and for people around. And here the teacher presence and communication plays a very important role. And through this classroom management and through this understanding of having an essential agreement with the children, you would definitely build a student ownership. So when the classroom culture is set, when the classroom management rules are set, definitely students will get into habit of understanding their own understanding their own limits, as well as what they can do and they cannot do, and they will take ownership of their actions. By all these means, we try to balance discipline along with empathy. Because one of the core values that we want to inculcate with students is empathy. Now, how do we create a positive classroom climate? So there's a small exercise for all of you. If you want to have a safe and welcoming environment, we know that there should be trust and respect built upon between teachers and students. Take a small piece of paper or anything around you. You just take and draw your dream classroom. Just a quick drawing that you can do. Would you like to draw something? You can switch on your cameras, teachers. I know we have teachers from our school as well as one or two from other schools. You can switch on the cameras. What do you think of your dream classroom? You can use a chat box also. Please use a chat box freely. I really don't want to have cold calls, so I really appreciate people if you could unmute and speak. We are making it more interactive. What do you think a dream classroom will look like for you? If you are as a learner. Yes? You can unmute and speak. Everybody has an option to unmute and speak.
More interactive.
Yes, more interactive.
Most of the students should face the good struggle.
Yes, you think that your dream classroom should have good struggle in your class. There should be struggle, and it should be towards learning, which has to be a good struggle. Wonderful point, Maithili ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we hear from some more of you? What do you think a dream classroom should be? Because we keep talking about ourselves as teachers. Now put yourself as a student. And if you are a student, how do you want your classroom to look like, feel like?
Ma'am,
Like a
myself
chance.
Neeta, ma'am.
Those who would like to speak, kindly unmute and speak. Yes, Neeta ma'am, please go ahead.
It can be activity based, ma'am, so that the students understand well the concept, ma'am.
Very nice, very nice. Activity oriented. So we should
Based on
always
the
be
experience
very
of learning.
wary of, absolutely agree, Neeta ma'am. But when you are saying activity based classroom, again, you should be wary of the glitches that accompanies, activity based. It's not just activity based, but how engaging your activities are, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. So moving on. So thank you for those two answers from Maithili ma'am and Neeta ma'am. So all of us have a dream classroom, and let's see whether this session will really encompass all those dream classroom. So first thing is, for every teacher, be it experienced or a new teacher, you first need to begin with building relationship. More than how good you are to teach something, you should build the trust with the students. So you have to build a relationship with the student. For that, there are so many ways. Each of us have a different way of building that relationship. After I finish this slide, I would like to hear from what are the strategies that you all use in your classroom to build the relationship. So initially, you can, at the start of the day, you can greet students at the door. You can use informal check-ins. What do you mean by informal check-ins? Do any of you have an idea what is informal check-ins? Can anyone share what do you understand by the term informal check-ins? See, when you say informal check-ins, yeah, please.
Ma'am, we can greet the students with a smile, which is not always like with a smile and kind words, ma'am.
Yes, Neeta ma'am. When you say it's not necessarily, it has to be in the beginning, in the morning, in the afternoon. When you say informal check-in, sometimes during the class hours also, when you're walking around inside the classroom, you can just ask them like, hey, how are you? How is your day going on? And even in the corridors, when you see one or two students, and if you feel that they are not in a good mood, your simple words can really bring in that change for the students. So those are called as informal check-ins. It's not like only during your class hours within your classroom, you need to, greet and, check on the children's well-being. Otherwise also, whenever you see them in the grounds or when you see on the walkway, if you have noticed even the slightest mood change with the students, definitely ask them, how are you? Like, I heard it was you have got a prize in your you have won a prize in your sports event. I am really happy about it. I really appreciate that effort. So these small, check-ins will bring a lot of difference for the children. We may not even know how much impact it has on them, but later on, you will be the great teacher in their minds. So likewise, you can share even about appropriate stories about yourself to build trust. Like I often do it in my class. Sometimes it might be funny incidents that happen to you. It is still okay to share with the students, or you can even tweak a little bit to share about your own personal stories. Like, what happened when I was taking the bus today. One of the I saw somebody littering. I went over and then I told them this is not the right way to do. So maybe the incident might have happened, but still, when it is from your own personal experience, children will try to listen to you more, and they will also have the feeling, okay, when man is telling about our own experience or his own experience, we can very well share our own experiences also. So that will definitely build a trust with the students and make the physical space welcoming. So whenever a student enters a class, ensure that your classrooms are clean, ensure that there is enough movement inside the classroom. Say, for example, if they have a doubt, they want to walk straight to you and they want to, ask you something, that space should be more welcoming. And, be it the floor space or arrangement of the desks and chairs, or even your soft boards around, ensure that it is more welcoming. Then again, start with mindfulness. I think after COVID, we have been hearing more about mindfulness. So most of your schools do have mindfulness practices, like you start the day with kind of, yoga or meditation or a short prayer, or just being quiet and calm, understanding your breath. So these are certain practices that will bring, the calmness to the children. We always do and suggest that before you end your class and before the onset of the next class, you can, let me say, like say it's a 40-minute class. You are going to 5A. You can start the class with the mindfulness practice. Could be a short breathing exercise, or it could be, anything that will help them to calm down, because there are always, reminiscence of the previous classes, reflections in their minds. So in order to make them settle down and make them listen to you with a fresh mindset, it is highly important you make the children to settle down and relax. Likewise, before you end your class also, just a 2-minute task, but it will create a greater impact and it will help the other teacher also. So try to follow this mindfulness practice at the beginning of the class and as well as at the end of the class. And achievements have to be celebrated, not only during the assemblies, not only during an event. It can be done on an everyday basis. And what do you call achievement as? Is it always winning something? No. I think as teachers, now we all understand achievement and success varies from person to person. For a child who has problem with understanding language, the basics of language, the basic foundational literacy and numeracy in case that is difficult. For the child to frame a sentence or speak a sentence clearly itself is an achievement. And when the teacher has noticed that, you need not wait to praise the child or appreciate the child until you have to give a report card or until you have to meet a parent, but still, celebrate and praise them immediately. That definitely makes a lot of difference. So slowly they will build the trust with you and they will build the relationship also with your teachers. So I would like to hear from our teachers, what are some kind of strategies that you use? I have shared here a few. I'm sure you all might have your own classroom strategies to, build the relationship. So can I hear from one or two of you? Please. So it will be really great to hear those ideas. It will be helping all of us.
Starting the day with organizing tracker.
Can you brief more on that, Priya ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Like as soon as the child enters the class, they will be arranging all their belongings and books inside the cupboard, and they will have their own checkpoint, like self-check. They'll be taking those things, the organizing tracker, and then they will greet everyone. So it is the very first thing we are doing in the class,
Exactly.
even during
You are
dispersal.
setting a discipline at the start of the class. Very nice to hear
Yes.
that. Very nice. Okay. Can I hear
Even
from somebody
before
else as well?
dispersal,
Yes, ma'am.
even before dispersal, we do the same self-check, ma'am.
Very good. So it brings a sense of orderliness for the children.
Yes.
How do you do it for secondary classes? I mean, if there are senior secondary teachers, could you share how do you bring these kinds of practices into your classroom, or how are you already implementing those? Can I hear from any of the senior secondary handling teachers?
Ma'am, I just wanted to add something.
Ma'am.
We do it for primary classes.
Yes.
Ma'am, it's like AMA session, which means ask me anything. During all the recess time, I used to sit with my children, having my snacks along with them. And mostly primary students will be very keen to understand how the teacher is and what she likes and what she wants to do everything. So this kind of sessions helped me to be in touch with the children, and more connect was formed, which I can able to witness the differences. AMA, just
Wonderful.
ask me anything.
Ask me anything. AMA. Please note down, teachers. You can definitely implement it in your classroom. Yes, I hear somebody else was trying to speak. Can you unmute
Happy
yourself?
noon, Marty, ma'am here, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes, Malti.
every day in NSP class, I do brain gym yoga and some activities with hands, ma'am. Like they enjoy with those activities, then I start the class.
Beautiful, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Our brain gym it is from your body to your mind and soul and heart. Directly it touches, right?
And even cross call helps them very much, very like they enjoy it, ma'am. When they do the cross call brain gym yoga and they enjoy, then I start the class, ma'am.
Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I would like to tell something.
Yes,
When I teach the letters, when they are writing, they simply speak to themselves, they speak to their friends. So I start the rhyme. So simultaneously, they'll be learning the rhyme also, and they'll be writing the letter. During the writing time, and this makes them more confident in singing for the upcoming classes. So I practice this in my class, ma'am, and I enjoy this also.
Interesting, ma'am. Pradeep sir, I think I hear your voice. Pradeep sir from senior secondary. Would you like to share something, sir? All right.
Ma'am, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Kalavati, ma'am.
So here the biology lessons first, they should get words. So suppose when we are taking respiratory system first, by doing exercise we'll start. So they know very well about the concept of lungs, diaphragm, inhalation, exhalation, everything there. So known to unknown we are going there, ma'am.
Very nice, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So moving forward, that is a wonderful YouTube video. Maybe I can put it in the chat and you can see that later. So a positive classroom culture doesn't just happen. It's intentionally designed through consistent actions, respectful relationships, and shared ownership between teachers and students. So like few of you shared, so you're intentionally designing a classroom culture that will make it happen. So this consistent behavior will definitely help students and teachers to build a respectful relationship. It might be overwhelming at the start, but then as and when you do it, the first habit that you started might be a cakewalk for everybody. Then slowly you build on building more and more wonderful habits. So it becomes a wonderful classroom culture and you are setting the tone of your complete classroom. So establishing rules, routines, and procedures. Importance of routines. How important are routines? Can I have a few of you share? How do you think routines will help to build this habit? Has any of you tried any routines in your class? And how have you created those routines? How do you think? These are my questions. How do you think routines have to be framed? Is it essential to co-create rules with the students? How do you start making
During the
some?
lunch,
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, during the lunch time, the child automatically sees the teacher, and now he knows that the teacher wants them to go in line. So just by teaching one or two times, they follow the routine, and this is very good to see that they are following. The teacher does not have to say anything. They know as soon as you stand, they form a line. It is not by words; it is only by the teacher's presence. They understand the routine, how they have to do. This is like a type of discipline, also, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Agree. Completely agree. So you are telling the children at the first time itself, this is how you have to go from this place to next place, and then they try to follow yours. What about in the
Yes.
classrooms? Like say across the different levels and segments of our grades from grade 1 to 12. There are so much that happens in the classroom. How do you set the agreement of the classroom? Do you all have essential agreements in your class?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it uniform across all your sections, or do you vary it according to the class teacher? How do you do, or how do you create your essential agreement? Can I hear from somebody? Especially the class teachers, you have a very important responsibility of setting the rules of your classroom. So do you co-create, or you generalize your rules and regulations and then put it up on the board? Do you come to a common understanding?
Ma'am, it should be the
Yes.
essential agreements between both the teacher and the students. It would be great if we initiate this process within the week of the school reopening, how they want their classroom to be and how they wanted to be treated by others. Those kind of questions can be interacted, and then the generalized rules can be set.
Absolutely correct, ma'am. Absolutely correct. Like say, for example, if time management is something that you want to build in, if that is a skill that you want your children to develop, so you have to start small. So how do you think you can bring in this idea of time management or developing this skill in your essential agreement? Give me one or two examples. I hope my question is clear. You want your children to develop this time management skill. And for especially for lower grades, they really take a lot of time to pack their things and put it in the bag and move from one place to another. Right? How do you overcome this kind of struggle, or how do you try to develop this time management for? And in what way do you frame the essential agreement? You can put it in the chat as well, or you can unmute it. Definitely, we all have this kind of experiences. Small things we do, right? We reward them if they finish something on time. Is it not, teachers? So to start with, if you have been finding it difficult to phrase an essential agreement, I would say like you can create 5 positively phrased rules. You can just start with building the phrase. Just a minute. Sorry for the interruption. So to start with, you can just start with 5 positive phrases. Then around those positive phrases, you can ask your students to create essential agreement for your classes. So
Ma'am,
that
sorry to
would be a good
interrupt. That the screen shared.
Pardon, ma?
Ma'am, it is not the presentation. The shade is not the presentation, ma'am.
1 second, 1 second.
So that's where I'm coming from is when you see these are getting things. What is like a important related educator should be having with them. Within their within their unique, every kid is unique. I hope you had a good session.
Is it now visible, Karpaga?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, like to start with, as I earlier told you, if you don't have anything else, I mean to say, like you don't know how to frame this essential agreement, na? You can just ask some 5 positive phrases from the students and ask them to build their essential agreement around those 5 phrases. Like, for example, uh, friendly. If friendly is one of the positive phrase, so the essential agreement could be we would be friendly with our peers and friends and students around. So that could be your starting point to frame an essential agreement. Likewise, you can think of multiple agreements for your classes based on your grade level and the student level. And also, as I earlier told you in my previous slide, how you can create a positive classroom. One is creating a positive classroom culture. Then we talked about establishing rules, routines, and procedures. And now moving on to strategies for student engagement. So create strategies, active learning strategies like think, pair, share, quick writes, jigsaw. There are so many active learning strategies that will keep your student engaged, participative, and being more hands-on and minds-on learners. And you can also, in addition to keep your student engaged, you can create a lot of questioning techniques. So go inside your class with some questions. Always go inside your class with some questions. It need not be only related to your content. It could be anything, a common question, a common discussion that will, a driving question that will initiate more discussion and make the children think further and beyond. So be, prepared and planned for your classrooms. I mean to say, not just related to completing a lesson or finishing a portion of something, but beyond that, how can you make your students hooked onto your subject or to you? So these are some of the strategies. I'm very sure that most of you are familiar with a lot of strategies. So try to implement these strategies in your classroom. Ensure to look into a balance of, if per week, if you're having 2 or 3 lecturing classes, I think the rest of things should be a oral discussion class, or it could be an activity oriented class, or it could be something related to making a project. So ensure that your students are engaged in each of these kinds of engagements. Now, this is a question that I would like to pose to all of you. How do you keep students engaged when the lessons feel boring to them? Now, I want at least few of you to kindly answer to this question. Tell me, how do you keep students engaged when the lessons feel boring to them? Definitely, each of you will have your own strategies, right? How do you keep your students engaged? See, you have noticed that, some of the students are not listening to your class, or they are getting distracted and they are like fidgeting with something. You have noticed it. Is it always like you yell at them and you tell them, oh, stop doing it? Or do you have any interesting strategy where, the children listen to you and, do you have anything like that? Teachers? I hope surely you will all have some small things. Yeah, please.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ma'am,
Please go ahead.
we can add some quick movement and brain breaks exercise, ma'am, like 2 to 3 minute movement breaks, like clap, pattern, like pattern wise, ma'am, clap, tap, something like that movement exercise. And also sit, stand, something like that we can ask them to do, ma'am.
Yes, Kirtana ma'am, further to that question, why did you choose those tapping movements as a,
For attention, ma'am, so that they'll come to our attention, ma'am. They'll enjoy the game. So when we say that, they'll come to our attention.
because always physical movement are more interesting for the young learners, right?
Yes,
Kirtana ma'am,
yes, ma'am.
handling the lower primary, definitely you understand that better, right? So more than telling
Yes,
them to
ma'am.
speak, when you give some physical movement, it definitely bring them back to the classroom. Even the most,
Yes,
the distracted student will want to listen to you and, and join the class, right?
yes, ma'am. Definitely,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Anybody else? Interesting one. Anybody else?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Being with grades 4 and 5, like they will do some mind games like cat, rat. The palm movement. So that again, like the hiccups, because like a mantra, so that to bring them back to the attention.
Yes, ma'am. It is quite appropriate for that age group. You are thereby
Yes,
not
ma'am.
only bringing them to focus, but also you're building their vocabulary, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Interesting. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. So moving forward, so handling disruptions and conflicts. So when there are issues that are happening, say two students are coming to you complaining that, ma'am, she had bet me and she has stolen my things, or she keeps always disturbing me during the classes. So during these kind of conflicts that happens in the classroom, I think it's very important for the teacher to stay calm, and your emotion should be consistent in any kind of conflict that happens in your classroom. So that's a kind of understanding that teacher has to develop and practice slowly. And so many times use non-verbal, we would have experienced ourselves, just one stare from our teacher, we will automatically will bring in our focus, right? So there might be a lot of non-verbal cues that you people are using in your classroom. So use a lot of non-verbal cues that will really save your energy. It will save unnecessary you know communicate conversation problems also. So just one stare, just one signal from your side will have to stop any kind of disruption, and it should redirect them to their normal behavior. And something interesting that I came across while I was doing this is restorative conversation versus punishment. I think we nowadays don't use the word punishment. Instead, we are using the term consequence. Now, what is restorative conversation? Restorative conversations provide a structured way to help students reflect on their behavior, understand its impact, and take responsibility. So it is majorly connected to your metacognition. Okay, I behave this way because of so and so reason. The reason is again because the other person made me feel this way, so that's why I have to react like this. So try to, while you are conversing with your students during any conflicts, try to understand the bottommost, the crux of what made the child behave that way. So your conversation should bring in that restoration, should they should understand the impact of the reaction, and they should own the responsibility for their action. So the teacher's role here is to develop that kind of a restorative conversation. I know, like, when you are busy, a child comes and talks to you, and ma'am, this boy is hitting me, and this, I mean, I know it is disturbing for you, but then instead of immediately, showing your anger or your dissatisfaction, you can just say, yeah, I understand your true feeling, but just give me some time. I'll get back to you. We will talk about it on a later time. I'll surely talk to you. I'll call you during when you are free. Then we will have a discussion about it. We'll try to understand what made you. So this kind of a conversation should definitely be cultivated in our classrooms. As I earlier told you, non-verbal cues. So your, hand signals, your, the just, your eyesight, the way you look, or, the simple gesture that you make will definitely help to bring in that kind of a, easier way to manage students. And bringing in task refocus, positive choice offerings, role redirection, cueing the whole class. So these are some of the non-verbal cues and redirections that you can use it in your classrooms. So as I told you, stay calm and neutral during when you are addressing the students, and pause and redirect. These are some of the ideas that you can use to handle the students. Have private conversations. Do not brand a child, or don't address any child, but you, like, say for example, you're acting like you don't know anything, you're acting like stupid, or these words should not be used in our classrooms. So if you want to address, just address the action that the child has done. Instead, don't use words that will brand them to a particular quality or attitude of the child. So it's very important to have a private conversation. Use restorative practices, like for example, instead of asking why did you do that, ask what happened, what were you thinking, feeling at that time, who has been affected by what you did, how have they been affected, what can you do to make things right, how can we do better next time. So these are some restrictive practices, and that you can implement in your classroom. And after some days, or like, you can ask the same child, like, okay, we had a discussion, but can you tell me, like, had it helped you out, have you brought in that change there, what more can I do, how can I help you better. So this kind of a rapport should be built between the student and the teacher. So like, in case if you wanted to bring in this practice in your classroom, you can do like an activity as well. Say, ask the children to do a role play. Give a disruptive scenario. Like for example, in groups, you can ask the children to, say two students are arguing. Give a statement as if two students are arguing, and one is refusing to work, another is like arguing. So teachers themselves, you can ask the students to take a role of the teacher, and how do they want us to really, solve that issue. So, indirectly you're building that kind of a mindset on how to solve issues, or how to get a common ground, or how to build relationship, how do we build that communication such that it is effective, and it's also, not bringing in any conflict. So you can definitely try it out by using role play scenarios. And positive reinforcement and feedback. You should always prize the effort, not just achievement. When I say prize effort, not just achievement, there are like, instead of saying, oh, wonderful job, you have done a truly great work, be very specific about the effort that the child has made. For example, a child has improved on sentence framing, and you have noticed that big change yourself as a teacher. So instead of saying, yeah, wonderfully, you have just improved your handwriting. So, handwriting, or you improved your writing skill, be very specific about your pricing. Like, for example, I really know how difficult it was earlier for you to make those sentences, but I could really see that you had been reading of late. You have been reading a lot of books, and you are trying to use those vocabulary in your sentences, which is quite evident in your writing. And I really appreciate it. Keep doing this. So this is the kind of way you should praise the effort of the children. So that's why we always recommend you when you're writing a feedback, avoid just giving good or yet to improve or better. Instead of doing this, it's highly essential now to be specific about giving your feedback. So you need to balance positive and corrective feedback. So like I earlier stated with my feedback now, so you have appreciated the child and also you are giving a corrective feedback. So do not use shaming language. What do you mean by shaming language? Hey, you're good for nothing. I always see you, disturbing the class. You cannot do good. So these kinds of shaming language should be absolutely no. So avoid shaming language. So I would also like to add some of the examples of shaming language. So there are different ways, as you can see in the slide. There are like academic shaming, behavior shaming, public comparison, personal attacks. We are, we don't intentionally do, but somehow or the other, I think for teachers, it just pops in sometimes. So even that we should try to avoid. And like, say, for example, if you keep scoring like this, you will never achieve anything in life. Understand the impact of this sentence when it is set to a grade 11 and 12 children who will be taking their board exams. I think of late, I mean, last week we heard suicides of students who are taking up the board exams. See, I'm not saying like who is wrong, but then it is very important for teachers to address these students in a very positive way. So if you keep scoring like this, you will never achieve anything. These kinds of sentences should be totally avoided. Behavior shaming. I knew you would mess this up. So this is like you have branded the child. The child is always messing up with things. I knew you would mess this up. So the child get this imbibed in his head that, oh, I'm always like that. And when the teacher says even more, they believe in that. So say something positive. Public comparison. We tend to do this. Oh, your brother was there in my class. He was much better than you. And even when parents come for the parent teacher meeting, we try to compare their siblings. The children will never like it. Just put yourself there. How would you feel? Similar way. So, please avoid these kinds of shaming language. And even again, personal attacks like you are so lazy and so on. So these things should be definitely avoided. So as a teacher, your presence and communication should be like, you should always be careful with the body language, with the tone of voice and consistency, and the proximity and eye contact. The way you, I mean, the distance between the student and the teacher and having the eye contact with the student definitely makes a great impact, right? So we are not going to do these activities as we are running short of time. And building student ownership. So classroom, so delegate the work to your students. Don't think that, oh, he's a grade 2 child, he may not be able to do it. But still, when you start believing them, when you just try out giving those roles. If you feel that they are not able to do, again, use those restorative conversations, give a good positive feedback, ask them what was difficult in doing that role, and if they would like to take up some other job role. So try to give a lot of classroom jobs and student roles for the children, encourage that responsibility and leadership, and balancing discipline with empathy. So you should bring in a firm but fair approach, balancing consequences with understanding. So student needs alongside discipline. So this is highly essential. So when we see our students speaking, other than campus language, it is every teacher's responsibility to be firm in bringing that language, campus language practice in our school or be it any other school, you have to be very firm in that. You cannot go away. So that will signal it very wrongly for the students. So be very firm in your roles and always have a fair approach to all this. So that's the end of our today's session. I just want to understand, like, though it was an, ad hoc session, I just want to understand, like, what was your take back? Was it helpful? So as a final note, effective classroom management is not about control. It's about creating a climate where respect, responsibility, and relationships thrive. Thank you everyone for joining. And do you have any questions for me, teachers?
Ma'am, this is not all about query. I want to share few things from my side. Like as you said, for a certain scenario, we will ask the students to go for simulation. We can pose the problem to them, let them come with different solution.
Yeah, like our role play scenarios.
Yes, ma'am.
You're just setting them for a scenario and you are asking them to tackle that problem.
Yes, ma'am. It's like a problem solving skill. And also second one, even we can put a question for the disruptive behavior. Like if you were that child, how would you handle the situation? Instead of
That's being
pointing out the mistake,
exactly.
let us start the conversation in such a way so that the child would realize, like if we were in that situation, how he would have handled that situation. So this can be
Yes.
the effective thing that can be followed in the classroom. Definitely it will work, ma'am, and I have witnessed that.
Teachers, I will just share a Google form for the attendance part, though it is mentioned as assessment reimagined by Abraham sir, but it is for my session, so you can just give the feedback about my session in order to get the certificate. I'll change the title of this session later, but use this attendance form to get your certificates. I hope it was a valuable session. So sorry again for the inconvenience. We are just worried about Abraham sir. We just wanted him to, communicate, and then we'll let you know if it is possible to have another session another day. So thank you everyone for joining. Have a great weekend, all of you.